All right, let's dive into something that's both fascinating and honestly a little surprising. We're going to talk about how we're turning artificial intelligence into our own personal confidant and why it's so important that we set some ground rules.
So, get this. This isn't some hypothetical prompt. It's a real thing people, especially Gen Z, are typing into chatbots. They're using AI as a rehearsal partner, for all those awkward conversations we all dread, like asking for a raise or dealing with office drama. And you can see the appeal, right? It's a totally no-judgment zone where you can just practice.
And believe me, this isn't just a niche little trend. People are asking AI for everything: therapy, dating advice, huge life decisions, even what to wear. It's quickly becoming the go-to tool for figuring out our professional and our really personal lives.
And the data, well, it really backs this up. One survey found that more than half of Gen Z are already using AI at work. And check this out, almost 3/4 of them think it's going to completely change their jobs. For them, it's not just a tool, it's a crucial part of their future.
To really get your head around the sheer scale of this, look at this number. 2.5 billion. That's how many prompts just ChatGPT handles in a single day. I mean, that's just a staggering number, and it really shows how deeply we're already relying on these bots.
But this brings us to the big question, doesn't it? With this incredible power right at our fingertips, we have to ask ourselves, where are the boundaries? Just because you can ask something doesn't always mean you should.
So let's start with our first rule. This one might seem obvious, but it's easily the most important one. You've got to protect your private data.
Now, I know this sounds like common sense, but you would be shocked at how often people are just typing in things like their passwords, their bank account info, or confidential documents from work. The key takeaway here is super simple. Never, ever treat a chatbot like it's a secure vault. Think of it more like a public forum when it comes to your sensitive information.
The best way to think about it is like this. An AI is a cloud notebook. It's super useful and accessible, right? But it is not a private diary that you keep under lock and key. The moment you type something in, that information is no longer completely in your control.
So here's your simple go-to test. If you wouldn't feel comfortable shouting that piece of information in the middle of a crowded room, then you absolutely should not be typing it into a chatbot. It's really as simple as that.
All right, rule number 2. This one tackles a really popular but also really risky use for AI, asking for therapy and medical advice.
People are constantly turning to AI the second a weird symptom pops up, and one study even found that getting therapy is a top reason people use it. But let's be super clear, a chatbot is not a therapist or a doctor. It can be great for, say, understanding what some complex medical term means, but studies have found there's a really high risk of misinformation. For a real diagnosis, you absolutely have to see a human professional.
Okay, next up, we're actually going to bundle 2 rules together because they're really closely related. This is all about steering clear of those truly dangerous rabbit holes you can fall into online.
So, what this means is avoiding any questions about illegal or dangerous activities. And here's why this is so critical. The AI companies, they're actively monitoring for this kind of misuse. Some of these systems can actually flag suspicious behavior. So, a question you ask just out of curiosity could potentially land you in some real trouble.
And this gets especially dangerous when you start talking about conspiracy theories. There's a technical term we all need to know here: AI hallucination. This is when the bot just completely makes something up. It generates totally false information, but it presents it with all the confidence of a proven fact. You can see how this creates a dangerous feedback loop, right? It can take someone's fringe belief and reinforce it with what looks like credible info, but it's all just fabricated.
And that brings us to our 5th and final rule. This one's a little more nuanced. It's all about relying on AI for those huge life decisions.
Should you quit your job or break up with your partner? While AI can be a fantastic tool to help you prepare for those conversations, just like that salary negotiation we talked about at the beginning, it absolutely should not be the one making the final call for you.
And here's why this is so important. AI gives you these clean, logical answers, but real life is incredibly messy. The chatbot doesn't know your history, your relationships, your unique personal dilemmas. It just doesn't have the human context that is so essential for these huge choices.
Now look, I'm not saying you shouldn't use these tools. Not at all. AI is a remarkable invention, and the future is clearly here. This is all about learning how to use it wisely.
Ultimately, it really just comes down to this powerful idea. The question was never about what the technology can do. We know it can do a lot. The real question is about our choices. What should you do with it?
The responsibility is on us, the users.
Because the answer to how much you should share with an AI is, more often than not, a whole lot less than you think. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. The next time you open up that chat window, what will you share?